Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your hard-earned wine dollars wisely. I'm going to Italy again. Oh, there goes the dogs. It's been a while since I've had barking dogs in the video, but you know, gotta have them every once in a while. Keeps it real. Going to Italy. I'm going to Italy because as we get into the fall, I don't know why, I can't explain it, but I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards French reds, Italian reds, Cabs, Merlots, Syrah. It's just where they gravitate because, you know, we're starting to get in a little cooler weather in some areas. I know some places in the United States are still pretty hot. Concerned about my friends in the valley there, Lake County. The fires there are amazing. I really feel bad about that. You know, hopefully that's only once in like a many year happening sort of thing. It's sad. Good friends of mine up at Steel Winery. I haven't heard back from them yet. I tried to contact them on Twitter. You know, just see how things are going. And you know, it's a bad thing. It's a bad deal. A lot of homes are destroyed. They said like 600 homes. It's crazy. Anyway, my heart goes out to those guys down over there, and hope they get the fires out and people can kind of bring their lives, you know, get their lives back together. It's a sad thing. Anyway, that was on a somber note. Now on a more positive note, we're going to try 3 Italian reds. Very interesting wines. I've never tried any of these before. I'm not even familiar with the producers really. I do a thing called a pick of the month at my store. I have a stack at the end of the aisle, kind of in the front of the store. Stan's pick for the month, and a lot of the sales reps, especially the real savvy ones, are trying to get that spot. So they drop off wines that they think, well, you know, we go anywhere from 30 to 40 cases of wine, sometimes a little less, depending on the pricing. Of those wines in a month, you know, that's a nice kick for the sales rep. So we're going to try a couple of these. I think they're candidates as far as the price goes. So I'm going to do a little homework while I'm shooting an episode, if that's okay with you guys. The first one is Pacini Memora from Italy, Vino Rosso, non-vintage. And I had to write a couple of notes on this because this is a blend of different grapes from different parts of Italy. Kind of an interesting concept. Episode 241, for those of you keeping track, 241. And what was I going to say? This rolls in at $10. So this is a blend of, I wrote this down, Primitivo from Puglia, Montepulciano from Abruzzo, center of Italy, Merlot from Veneto up in the north, and Nero d'Avola from Sicily, the island on the west, down in southwest of France. So interesting concept, $10. I'm excited to try it. Let's see what we get on the nose. Getting a little petrol, which I find very interesting. Always like that petroleum coming through. A little bit of bark. Am I yelling? I got a new shotgun mic, by the way. I'm trying this new shotgun mic. An audio guy said they're really good for videos. I'm only hoping the battery I put in it is working. A little tobacco coming through, but there's a interesting red flowers and a red fruit. It's not really cherries. It's kind of a cross between cherries and currants. Good aromatics. I mean, you know, I mean, it's a little bit of spice action coming. Let's see what we get on the palate. Sweet tannins, for sure. A little of that rubber boot comes through on the back end, which is interesting, and a really big hit of white pepper on the backside. I'm getting some chocolate tones, like some milk chocolate tones coming through. It's like someone blended black currants, milk chocolate, and shaved off a little bit of bark in there. Very smooth, but it has that white pepper on the finish, which I like. I'm trying to decide while drinking this. I know, just from experience, that this is going to be a very popular wine. I know a lot of people are going to love this wine, but that chocolate just keeps lingering on the finish, which I know whenever I put chocolate on a sign in my wine notes that I put out, a lot of people like that. They like that chocolate element that comes through. I'm just thinking this is somewhat one-dimensional. I'm not getting a lot of things going on. Not entirely, though, because I do get the white pepper. I do get a little bit of the currant action coming through, and I get a little bit of that shaved bark, which is interesting, for sure. I do like that. There's definitely a petrol action, front to back. I like that. More interesting after 2 or 3 tries. This wine is pretty good. I'm liking it, especially for $10. I think it's a good play. You get that petrol, you get the currants, the chocolate tones are there for sure. I'm just trying to decide, maybe it's the finish is just a hair thin. Yeah, I can see, like I said, a lot of people liking this, and if you want a little more interesting things in your wine, maybe some of you won't pick up that kind of rubber boot thing going on. Maybe you will. I don't know. I say that a lot of times and people don't get it. But that's okay. You know, you don't have to enjoy the wine. I'm going to go B- on that. I think it's a pretty good wine for $10 especially. Yeah, I'm going B-. I'm sticking with that. I like it. Let's move on. Nice surprise for 10 bucks. Tenute, Rubino, Oltreme, Susumaniello from Salento in Puglia. We're familiar with Salice Salentino. This is Salento is the IGT. Susumaniello is a grape related to Garganega, which is the main white grape used in Suave. Okay, cool label, by the way. Like it. This rolls in at $14. And Susumaniello is one of those grapes, I guess, that was almost extinct, and they brought it back. It's become quite popular. A lot of people are into those, those kind of ancient grapes they never heard of. Have you ever tried a Susumaniello? This is my first time. Let's give it a little rinse. 14 bucks from Puglia, way down south in Italy. The name Susumaniello, I thought this was interesting. Is derived from the word somarello, which means donkey, and I guess there's a big yield on these grapes, so Susumaniello can carry a big load, like a donkey. Interesting. Another wine that produces a lot of grapes is Carignan. We're going to do an episode on Carignan coming up here pretty soon. Episode 241. Kind of impressed with that. 241 episodes. Now, I'm getting more views. I have 51 subscribers now. For some of you YouTubers, that's small potatoes. But, I'm in a small area. I have a lot of retired folks that I sell wine to. Maybe not entirely YouTube savvy. My demographics for that kind of person are very small. So, I'm happy with 51. I want more, of course. If you're watching this video, please subscribe. It's easy to do. Just take a few steps and do it. Please. Interesting nose. I mean, when I first smelled this, I'm going, wow. I did a close-up on that. A little stink action. I get a lot of like tobacco tar action coming through. Like tarry currants, like somebody dipped currants in tar and then you munched on them. I'm getting that smell. Yeah, a little bit of charcoal. A lot of tobacco, almost like it's smelling an ashtray with some fresh tobacco sprinkled in. A lot of bark. I'm getting a little bit of bark action coming through. I won't get carried away with smelling. I know you guys like, okay. Is he ever going to quit smelling that blasted wine? Let's see what we get on the palate. Wow. Totally surprised by the palate. Has a nice fruit element to it, like a lot of plums and currants. I mean, plums big time plum action. There's a meatiness to this too, like a marinated meat element with the plums. There's currants. Very interesting. Tobacco comes through big time. A little bit of bark, but not a lot. I get a little tannic grip on the backside, but not huge. This is a well-balanced wine. Good acidity, by the way. Very good acidity. Wow. I'm very pleasantly surprised. Sort of like a black and red plum element coming through. Now the only thing about this wine that's kind of weird, the thing that's kind of weirding me out about this wine is there's this little hollow place, little hollow spot right at the front of the mid palate, like right there, and then it kind of comes to life. It's weird. It's like it disappears a little bit and then comes back. It's like peek, boom, there I am. But it's kind of weird. I mean, all 3 times I put it in my mouth, it's like it disappears for just a second. Is that a flaw? I don't know. I don't think a lot of you will notice that. But man, this finish is lingering. And that tarry element, kind of that charcoal tar meat, it's like meat marinated in black currants and plums. I mean, it's just got this really incredible finish with a little bit of tobacco thrown in there. And some spice. If you find this one and you buy it, I want you to test this out. When you're kind of aerating through your mouth, it disappears. Seriously, it disappears. But then it comes back in full force. I don't know what to think about that. It's kind of cool, kind of weird, kind of, different. Did I say this was 2013? I don't know if I said that. 2013, Tenute, Rubino, Oltreme, Susumaniello from Salento. Good wine. Really good wine. I'm impressed with that wine. I'm gonna go B+, only because of that hollow spot in the mid palate. I'd go in the A category, but that's kind of weird, that hollow spot. Let's move on. Good stuff. If you haven't tried a Susumaniello, look this one up. I'm gonna bring it in the store. I am. Il Canapone 642. Maremma, Toscana, Italy. DOC is a Maremma. That area's just been smoking out some great Italian wines. This rolls in at $15. If you go from Tuscany to the coast, you will find Maremma. It has a lot of a marine influence, and some of the Super Tuscans came out of there big time before they allowed some other varietals in Tuscany. But yeah, amazing area. This has 6 different grapes. That's what the 6 is. I'm sure 42 degrees is the latitude that this Marima sits at. This rolls in at $15. Did I give the vintage? 2011. I believe James Suckling gave this 90 points, like I give a crap. No, I mean, I have the greatest respect for all the wine critics, but I don't believe in the 100-point system. I think it's flawed. This is Cab Merlot, Petit Verdot, Syrah, Sangiovese, and Montepulciano. Those are the 6 grapes used in this wine. Let's see what we get on the nose. This has classic Italian nose. Dusty, red fruits. A little bit of oak coming through. I get the oak on the nose. But not new oak. It's more like an old kind of wood nose coming through. Get a little tobacco, and there's some black fruit thrown in there, maybe some black currants. A little bit of rose petal I'm getting on that. Let's see what we get on the palate. Well, I can understand why James Suckling gave this 90 points. There's definitely a lot of fruit on this wine. It doesn't blast you over the top, because at the end you get that spice, kind of serious tannic grip on the end. But right up front you get a big, bold kind of blackberry, currant, red plum sort of thing going on. But what I like about it is, yes, you get the fruit, but then it starts getting into that serious sort of old world tobacco, red flowers, kind of crushed rock. There's some minerality here, which I really like, and a lot of white pepper on the finish. The fruit comes through right after that. You get that kind of ripe red plum, blackberry sort of thing going on with the red flowers kind of lingering on the palate. I'm going to have to agree with James Suckling on this. Good bottle of wine. It has a little bit of that rust action that you get from Italian wines that I really like. Kind of like you get from Nebbiolo, Barolo, Barbaresco. You get that little bit of rust in with the fruit. I really like that about this wine. That's a good effort. The cool thing about a wine like this, and this is what I like about these kind of wines, $15. For those of you who are into New World wines, you like a little bit more fruit on it, this would appeal to you, and it might gravitate your palate a little bit towards Old World, because it finishes with that kind of minerality, earthiness, that rust that comes through. It has a lot of cool things going on. I'm going to go A- on that wine. I like it a lot. It doesn't have that hollow spot in the mid-palate. If this Susumaniello would not have had that hollow spot, I'd be up in the A category, but I like them both. I like all of them, actually, for different reasons. They're very good wines, you know, worth your wine dollars. Thanks for watching. And remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Be willing to expand your palate horizons, but never, ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like. And if we do that, we can take the snob out of wine.